Factoring binomials. I will define a binomial. I will discuss the greatest common factor. And the four types of binomials that will be factored are difference of squares, sum of squares, difference of cubes, and sum of cubes. I like sharing my credentials to let you know I am highly competent in Algebra 1, and I am highly passionate about helping you be successful with your algebra. Definitions for factoring and binomials. Factoring is finding the common factor shared by each term and rewriting the expression as a product of its factors. Factors, again, are the numbers or terms that get multiplied together. Factoring is the opposite of multiplying, basically. Binomials, polynomial with exactly two terms, which are separated by addition or subtraction. Greatest common factor. I want to remind you, you always want to attempt to factor out the greatest common factor during your factoring process. The greatest common factor is the maximum amount common to each term. Each term can be divided by the greatest common factor, and there will not be a remainder. Here's an example of factoring the greatest common factor. Factor completely are your instructions. 5a to the third power plus 10a to the second power. With all of these, you're welcome to pause the video and attempt it on your own. Share your answers in the comments section, please. Each term divides evenly by 5a squared. The result will be a plus 2. So factoring this completely, you will have 5a squared times the sum of a plus 2. The first of the four types of binomials I will look at closely is difference of squares. Here's the example, b squared minus 100. Instructions are factored completely. You're welcome to pause the video to attempt any of these problems on your own. This is a difference of squares because the first term b squared is a perfect square. You can find the square root of b squared. And the last term, or second term, 100 is a perfect square. The two terms are separated by subtraction. When factoring a difference of squares, there is a format that you can follow, or a formula, using the example m squared minus n squared. That will equal the factors m minus n times m plus n, or you can put m plus n first and then multiply that by m minus n because of the commutative property of multiplication. B squared minus 100 will factor into the factors b minus 10 and b plus 10. The next special binomial is a sum of squares. Your instructions are factored completely, c squared plus 49. This is a sum of squares because the first term c squared is a perfect square, and the second term 49 is a perfect square. This is a sum of squares because the terms are separated by addition. Sum of squares cannot be factored when using real numbers, but you want to attempt to factor the greatest common factor. Here is an example of a special binomial difference of cubes. The first term is a perfect cube, and the last term is also a perfect cube. The terms are separated by subtraction. The formula for difference of cubes is in the brown box. Replace m with d and replace n with 3. The factors will be d minus 3 and d squared plus 3d plus 9. Lastly, there is a special binomial, sum of cubes. First term is a perfect cube, and the last term is a perfect cube. The terms are separated by addition. Here's the formula in the brown box for a sum of cubes. M will equal E, and N will equal 2. So the factors will be E plus 2 and E squared minus 2E plus 4. Thank you for watching this video. I look forward to any requests you have for future material. Here are the ways you can contact me to connect with me. Have a good day.